All right, y'all. Here we go. Another episode of Diverse Talking Heads. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and we're so happy that you decided to check us out because today we have a very special episode. I should throw on my low voice and talk real sexy because this episode is all about love, diversity in love. Did you know that in the United States of America, interracial marriage was not allowed in all of the states until 1967? There was some abolitionists that tried to get the law repealed back in the 1830s. But it took another 130 years until 1967 when people of mixed races could legally marry in all of the US. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? So let's jump right into it. We have our panelists here today, and I'm just going to ask them to please just state their first name. I'm going to start with the ladies first. That starts with A.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And lady starts with K.
Karen. I'm Karen.
All right. And the gentleman on the line.
Calvin, I'm Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Charlie. And next, the man in Kansas.
Hello, Mark Manning. Happy to be here.
All right. Thank you very much for joining. And we're going to talk tonight about love. I want to start with, have you ever forgotten Valentine's Day when you were in a relationship? I'm going to start with the ladies first. I'm going to ask the ladies first. Ladies, have you ever forgotten Valentine's Day?
No, I've never forgotten it. I've always had a jump start on it.
Okay.
And I didn't do big things. I did important things.
Okay. Amy.
So
Sounds really sweet. I have not forgotten it, but my husband's birthday is actually today as we're recording, which is really close to Valentine's Day. So I will admit that I prioritize one versus the other. So I wouldn't say forgotten, but definitely there's been years where I've been like, we get one or the other, or we combine them. I don't have enough energy to do like a birthday and then do something for Valentine's. So just being honest.
Okay. Well, I will jump in and say that I have never forgotten it. I have actually messed up a few Valentine's days, but those are other stories for later episodes. Charlie, how about you?
No, either with the first wife or the second wife. The second wife and I have a tradition every year. We go out and do fondue. And we've done that every year of our marriage. And I've been married 15 years, with the exception of 1 year because they closed the first fondue place down. And then I just ate wherever for a year. And then we went further away to another fondue place. And we've been going there ever since. And we already have reservations there.
Okay. Well, that sounds sweet, Charlie. Hey, Mark.
Mhm.
Have you ever forgotten Valentine's Day or had someone forget it that was in a relationship with you?
I have a lot of mixed feelings about Valentine's Day. I always I always have thought it was a holiday created by a card company, but I know it's actually steeped in like religious and, traditions of Romans and Catholics and all kinds of different reasons. But for me, I've been with my partner Caleb for 30 years, which in gay world is like 150 or something like that. And we always, even though we don't talk about it, we always give each other a Valentine's Day card every year. Just we both do it, and it's not like something we like try to remind each other about. We just do it. But prior to my relationship with Caleb, I used to break up with my I broke up with 3 different people on Valentine's Day, which is a horrible, I mean, they say you shouldn't do that, but it was kind of like a litmus test. It's like, do I really like this person? And I have to, so I actually have broken up with two boyfriends on different Valentine's Days in my past lives, which is kind of tragic. But so I have a lot of mixed feelings about Valentine's Day in general, but anyway.
It sounds
So,
like
A little more
Mark,
than you asked for there, Calvin.
so Mark, you're that person, huh? You're the one that did it. Now I know someone that actually did it.
It's love is hard, and it takes a while to figure it all out. And until I met Caleb, who I've been with forever, I used to be the person to let the other one make the first move, and I sometimes would find myself in a 9-month relationship where it's like, how do I get out of this? And Valentine's Day was coming up, and I just couldn't muster it up. I just couldn't fake it. I'm just not that good of an actor, and I ended up breaking up with them on that day. Oh.
But you know what? What you said is true. Love is hard. It's not easy. It is something that has to be navigated. Sometimes it takes a while to actually see the value in the relationship, or sometimes the relationship is not right, and you have to find that exit strategy out of there. So it is hard. It does take some calculating. It's like a game of chess. You make a move, they make a move, and you see how far the game can go. And oftentimes, as with those of us that have been in relationships for a long time, it turns out to no longer be a game, but it becomes reality. And it's a beautiful thing. I know that my wife and I, because around here, every day is Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Aw.
it really is. I will buy her gifts, and we go out to dinner. Every Friday is date night. And so we don't do the Valentine's Day traditionally anymore. When we were dating, she still has all the teddy bears and cards and all that good stuff. Yeah, there's a big teddy bear that I look at every night that's sitting over in the corner of the room looking at me, Karen. He's still there. He's still there. He's still there. But we don't do that anymore because we have found that, as Mark said, it seems to be more of a day that cards, candy, Valentine, things like that can be sold, stuffed animals. And if you practice it every day, then you don't have to, really go all in for February 14th. Now, we talked a little bit before about overcoming the prejudice in interracial relationships. But in more recent time, the issue of relationships between individuals of the same gender has come to public attention, and people get passionate on both sides of the argument. On one hand, you have individuals that think that their life views is in religious texts, as in the Bible. And then on the other hand, there's pleas of individuals to recognize equality and that they have the right to live with dignity and love whoever they want to love. Have anyone here ever had that hard conversation with someone about a same gender relationship? that they want to share?
I have that conversation all the time because I actually know several couples, same-sex couples that are married, who are committed, who love one another in ways that you never expected them to love each other. No different than heterosexual love. They're committed, trust, they love each other, they're there for each other. And I see it, it's beautiful. It's something that anybody who wants to be in love should want to feel, experience, be exposed to. It's no different than heterosexual love to me. If anyone has any prejudices, that's their own thing. That's what's wrong with us today. We're always so busy putting our personal thoughts on somebody else's life, not realizing how it impacts them mentally. Leave them alone. You do you and they do them. Love is love. There's nothing wrong with being loved the right way at all.
All right. All right. I think I'm going to make that into my next video blog. There's nothing wrong with being loved the right way.
You're welcome.
I will, you mentioned religious views. I will admit the way I was raised, I don't really hold religious views now, but the way I was raised was a very, it's wrong, it's against, blah, blah, blah. I went to several very religious schools, and it was actually a teacher in one of those schools who was one of the first people. They were just a lay teacher. They weren't like indoctrinated in the religion necessarily, who did if two people say that they're going to love each other and be committed to each other, I don't understand how this religion can be against that. It doesn't make sense to me. That was not a very popular thing to say at the time. The teacher kind of got in some trouble for it. It's part of the reason I'm not religious anymore, because that is such a prejudiced point of view. I can't think of any rationale for it other than simple, I don't know, fear or bigotry, or I just can't find any positive rationale for it. But I do want to admit that was the way that I was raised. So go back several decades ago, and I would have been towing the line of like, well, I don't care, so-and-so religious figure says it's wrong, and so you shouldn't do it. I'm not proud of that at all. I have left that behind, but you mentioned it, and so I want to go ahead and say that. I really think it's a horrible way to raise children, honestly.
Well, I will say this, Amy. There's those people out there that insist that God defined marriage, and that we are unable to alter a divinely instituted identity or practice. But people use, for example, the Bible in order to justify all types of racism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As an African American man, my research has shown that, in the early, I would say 1900s through the 60s, there was those that carried a Bible that said that, God did not want a black man and a white woman to be together under any circumstances. But the slave owners, going back to the 1800s and 1700s, those slave owners, they did sleep with the black women.
Mm-hmm.
And that was allowed. So
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Jefferson.
yes, indeed.
To name one. Yeah, just one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a history of hypocrisy when you
Yes.
talk about love and the Bible, or racism and the Bible. Charlie, you've been kind of quiet. What you got to say about this? I know you got something.
Well, as you know, my first wife is Chinese from Taiwan, and we were married for 10 years, and seven or eight of those were really good, and even though we did split up, I still think highly of her in that, and I hope she's doing well. So, I've actually lived that in that sense. My feeling about gay marriage has always been that the law should not impede human happiness.
Mm.
and that there should be no restrictions on that.